The 19th reason why I do not believe in evolution is because of common sense. Common sense must be turned off in order to accept and believe in macroevolution. You see, evolution is like believing in fairy tales, but instead of using the phrase once upon a time, the phrase then becomes millions of years ago. After that, we enter into an enchanted land where humans are related to apes and people and plants share a common ancestry. But even after that wild story, the evolutionists will look at me and call me foolish for believing in an intelligent designer whose name is Jehovah God. The evolution model takes just as much faith as believing in God. Both campsites receive and believe information they are told because it fits into their belief system. They receive it by faith. An example of this is the belief that man evolved from ape. Once again, I'm supposed to be the foolish and the uneducated one because I believe in God. Let's just use common sense here for a moment and take a look at our hands. Now make a fist and watch the motion of your fingers as they close. The dexterity of those hands is so amazing, and yet we take them so much for granted. With them, you have the capacity to work underneath a microscope or to swing a sledgehammer. How could something so amazing have come to exist without an intelligent designer? Consider your brain. The designers of computers would love to be able to have direct access capability to memory that your brain possesses. Consider your body's ability to repair itself. Can your car do that, or can your television do that? All of this functionality is too great to have just happened by accident via natural selection. There had to be an intelligent designer involved in the process. Common sense also tells us that current evidence should be weighed as being more reliable than any hypothesis that is buried underneath yet another hypothesis, which is buried underneath yet another hypothesis, and all these are buried underneath the same explanation and same excuse of millions of years ago. The teachers of evolution would like for you to believe that new species are occurring over a span of millions of years. They believe that this is what has caused the diversity of plant and animal life. What I believe, and what can currently be observed, is that the maximum number of species occurred at the time of creation, and that number has decreased and is decreasing. And that is why we have an active endangered species list. I do not see any living intermediary stages of evolution. If a frog becomes a chicken, I would expect to see varying stages of chicken frogs and frog chickens walking around, but I do not see that. And I hope you don't either, by the way. They tell us that this is because the mutations take millions of years, so we do not see these stages. I do not believe this because I can see different races of people. I can see different breeds of bears and different breeds of dogs and so forth. So millions of years would certainly not cause 100% absorption of all, and I repeat, absorption of all intermediary stages. When someone believes in evolution, they do so with such devotion that common sense becomes non-existent. This is a very common occurrence within any religion because faith is the key component. The evolutionist has blind faith in natural selection. He cannot see natural selection because it takes millions of years, just as I cannot see God, but I believe in His eternal presence. They believe they can see the results from the actions of natural selection, just as I believe I can see the intelligent design of an almighty God. We also both believe the other person believes are foolish. Neither of us believe the other side is using common sense or good judgment.